everyone, it's P4L. I'm back with a full review of Fancy Toys FT-42 Hunk, their version of Masterpiece Brawn. I did do a live stream the other day, which again are always really fun. I always enjoy them. So if you want to check that out and see what other questions and interactions we had during that time, go ahead and click on that video. But yeah, let's get started. Packaging, pretty standard packaging from Fancy Toys. A little tiny box here. Nice little, what is it, kind of embossing or whatever you want to call it. Then we do have Hunk's bio, known as Pocket Hercules or Muscles amongst his comrades. Thought that was funny. And some pics here. So yeah, pretty standard stuff for Fans Toys. He does come in a styrofoam packaging. He comes packaged in robot mode, like most of Fans Toys figures. He does need a little bit of finagling to get him into full robot mode, but not too much, at least on my copy. And then he comes with 3 sets of accessories. So let's zoom in just a little bit. So let's look at his. Oh, sorry. He does also come with a set of instructions, as well as a stack card. So you can see that. Instructions are pretty good. Only a couple places where I'll give you some extra tips, but by and large, his transformation is really fun and nothing to really concern yourself about. Nothing that I've seen so far warrants any real warnings or breakage points. So looking at his accessories, let's look at his gun first. You can see here, nicely molded. He does have a little peg here or tab that we'll use for robot mode, for alt mode storage. And it works on a rail system. Some other figures have done like this before. I don't know if Fans Toys has, but yeah, it basically works on a rail system in conjunction with his fist, as you see down here. You slide that in, you just make sure that that kind of I-beam or T-beam piece slides into the back of his hands. I really like that design. I've seen this multiple times before, and I think it's a lot better as far as designs go, just because it's a lot more solid. You don't have to worry about tabbing it in. You don't have to open the hand or anything like that. So yeah, I really enjoy that design. I hope more companies do that instead of the MP style. I think the MP style is kind of dated. He does come with his alt mode kind of drill bit. If you remember the episode where he transforms and starts drilling into the ground or whatever, it is nicely kind of chromed out. Nice bling here. And then last but not least, let's take a look at his 2 faces. He does come with a stock one, just a straight face, like so. And then he comes with this yelling face. I think the faces are quite good, especially the standard face, even though it is kind of plain. But I think the molded lines make him, around his mouth, make him look nice and old. And then I do like the light blue painted eyes, which I think are more in line with what we've been getting a lot from the official. Let's see here. Let's do a quick 360. I always like to do that. Oh, sorry. Let me zoom in a little bit more. I'll do a quick 360 and do a comparison photo of a animation image. Overall, very clean figure. He does have wheels that are coming out the bottom here, but other than that, he's quite clean. Not the most obtrusive backpack either. Paint-wise, that's the one complaint I talked about a lot in the live stream, and it's just a personal opinion for me. I don't know if your opinion will share the same or not, but I would prefer a little bit more of an orangey, less reflective color on the chest, and maybe a slightly darker color on the shoulders and the rest. They also painted the helmet silver, which is a very nicely done silver. I just don't think it matches as well. Maybe if they had gone silver with the forearms as well and the knees, that would kind of all bring it all together. But for me, I would have preferred maybe a dark gray helmet and darker gray forearms and details here, and a light gray face to make sure that you can still see that color separation. So really quickly, when he comes out of packaging, or at least when mine came out of packaging, he wasn't fully transformed correctly. These hip skirts are supposed to tab in here, but they work in a slightly interesting way. So to get to this, we need to more easily access this. I would say to go ahead and unpeg the backpack. There are 3 pegs up here and 1 tab right there. So what you need to do is fold out this panel, so it's 90 degrees to this one, and then you need to get the leg kind of out of the way a bit. You can see this piece clears barely, and this will tab in to the main body. And now you'll see that this tab reveals itself allowing you to tab in like so. So yeah, let me get a tool. Sometimes this does pop in, so you might have to pop that out. It's kind of hard to get. And again, when you close this up, remember to kind of rotate the leg and then maybe rotate the thigh as well, just to get that to clear. Oh, I should have opened that up first, tab that in. But yeah, that's the full robot mode. I probably should have done that before I did the 360, but it is what it is. Let's move on to articulation. The head has two real points of articulation. His actual neck and this head back plate or whatever is on a rotational joint that we'll need for transformation, but that allows you to rotate the head a bit. And then if you want to rotate the head by itself, you can do that. You can see that there's some recessed area to let you get a little bit more rotation. So I think that's more than enough. He does also have an up and down joint. And again, I said this in the stream. I think it might be a ball joint, but it doesn't feel like it. It looks like it, but it doesn't have the head bobble. So he can look up. It is very tight on mine, and he can look down a bit. If you want to replace the face, you gotta come in underneath here. It's just some short pegs here. You see these 3 pegs, and then we just replace them with this one. Just slot that in. I feel like this one is a lot looser. I'm noticing that you can see right now it's shaking on mine. I'm not really sure why this one seems looser. It should be fine, but on my live stream it did pop out. So just be mindful of that. Maybe a little bit of polish, floor polish, would tighten that up a bit. So yeah, other articulation besides the head here. He does have shoulder rotation that goes all the way around, goes out 90 degrees. He does have a 360 bicep swivel, 90-degree elbow bend. None of these are ratcheted, although they do have some details that make it look like ratchets, so that's also okay. Wrist swivel, MP style car hands, all 4 fingers molded together with 1 pin joint at the hand. No thumb articulation. At the waist, he does have a waist swivel. It goes about, maybe not quite 45 degrees before you run into the backpack, but as I just showed before, you can kind of unclip that a little bit. And if you remove it all the way, you can get 360 on that. We did see that his hip skirts do move, but not in the way that you think. So you can't really move this up. You have to like open that up. And it doesn't really afford you that much extra articulation out to the side. But to the front, if you flip this up, you can get a decent amount more leg lift there. But with this closed, you don't get too much. You get just around maybe 80, 75 degrees or something like that. He does have a hidden thigh swivel, which is great. Fairly deep single knee joint bend. More than 90 degrees for a single knee joint is pretty good. And at the foot, he really only has this ankle tilt. And I talked about this as well. These legs are 2 halves of the car that like are sandwiched together and held into place with this peg down here. And you would think that might have some restrictions on being able to do ankle tilt or any kind of other tilting. But it's great that they gave him at least a little bit. It's not a ton, but I think it's more than enough, especially for such a small figure. He doesn't really have any toe articulation other than some of the transformation joints, so I won't really count that. And then he has this 1 rotational piece for the heel, again for transformation really, but who knows, you might find some utility in posing. Nothing with the backpack other than the wheel can spin around and these here. So I think I covered most of the articulation. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. But before we keep going, let's go ahead and do some comparisons. Here he is with my Brawny, so my standard Brawn. And as you can see here, I think this gray is a little too dark, but again, I think I prefer it with a gray helmet over the shiny silver helmet. They're pretty close to the same height. You can actually extend, I think, the knees of Brawny to make him about this tall, so pretty close in height. He does look, Hunk does look a lot sleeker. He has a much smaller backpack overall. A lot less kibble, especially in the leg areas. And this one has a lot more detail. That's mostly because I have the repro labels on there. So not a direct comparison. I do need to throw an Autobot logo on there at some point. All right, other comparisons that would make sense. Here we go. Here he is with MP10. Let's scooch back a little bit just so you can see the height comparison. Yeah, so he's about a little bit more than half as tall as MP Prime. Oh, sorry. Here he is with Brawny. I did do a bunch of other comparisons in my live stream. I'm not going to waste your time rehashing those. And let's see, what else do we need to talk about? I think that's pretty much it. Like I said, he doesn't come with a ton of accessories or anything like that. But by and large, I think he does look like a really great Brawn in robot mode. Alright, so let's get into the transformation. Transformation is actually really fun. Nothing, like I said at the beginning, nothing really worrisome about breakages or trouble points. So just as long as you're mindful of how to do it, it should be pretty easy for you. So as we did before, we're going to unpeg the backpack. You can see it's on a set of hinges here. We'll just keep this like so. There's really no way to get around it. This needs to get out of the way before we can get anything. So it's going to flop around a lot during the review, but don't worry about that. So we're going to flip that out. We're basically going to reverse what we did to get it into the proper robot mode. Pull this panel out, close this up, and then this hip skirt will actually fold in and hide beneath the front. So same thing on this side. Flip this open, get the leg out of the way, flip that closed, flip this in towards the back. One piece here that you're going to have to worry about is you can see that there's a set of grooves here where you can see the hips will move. You need to apply pretty strong pressure to move the heels back towards the butt, and you'll hear it move back. So you can see it's sitting back a little bit further. So don't forget that. That's a very important step. And now we'll take each of the legs one at a time. I'll just go through the entire transformation for one leg and then the other. So first thing we'll do is release and fold down these flaps here on the side. Untab this section here. This is what keeps the two halves together at the bottom. We'll have to open that up all the way. And then right in here, there's another one which keeps the leg. So once we get all those done, I'll show you what we need to do. We need to rotate here at the hip all the way 180 degrees. No. What is this? So yeah, get this up at 180 degrees. Be mindful, you need to have that hinge so that you can bend it upwards like this, because you're going to need that for the transformation. So once you do that, we're going to bring this down, close this tab up, and then this is going to rock up like so. And you'll see this little ridge right here. That's going to go up right underneath this section. So we don't have to fully put that in now, but I just wanted to show you how that goes. While we're here, I actually like getting rid of the arms now. So you want to untab the arm here. You can see how it works. And this whole gold piece rotates around. You can see that it's grooved here, so you want to rotate that all the way around like so. The arms will fold down like this, and it essentially just needs to sit like that. Okay, so this will sit basically in the trunk-ish area. From here, now we can split the legs. This side with the gold detail will be the front, and this will be the back. You're going to flip this piece down, untab here, and you'll see that there's a corresponding tab. Make sure it's all straightened out, like so. That will tab in. The front is slightly different, and a commenter asked me why, and I really don't know why. But this one, you don't flip it down. It's actually on a sliding joint. So you do have to untab it, but you slide it kind of in this diagonal direction. And I don't know why they decided to do this difference in transformation. I don't really see a reason why. It would have been interesting to find out why the engineering team decided to do that. There must be a reason, I'm sure. I don't know why they would do it asymmetrically otherwise, but I couldn't, it wasn't really evident to me why. So once you have that done, you're going to collapse this part to close up the gap. And like I said, this will come in close to the body like so. Make sure this floppy piece stays in like this when we do the rest of the transformation. But yeah, that's one side. We're just going to repeat on the... See, I don't know what's going on with this face. I'm going to put the other one in like I showed before. Mine seems to be really loose on that one. So I'm just going to put the stock face back in. All right. Same thing on this side as we did before. We're going to go ahead and release all these different tabs. I'm using a tool just because some of these do get a little tough to get out. That one, this one, and then this one in here. Rotate the leg up to the side like so. And then we're going to rotate the hip. Remember, this swivel where you can bend it needs to face completely upwards. So don't just face it like this, otherwise you're going to damage your figure. Make sure that you can actually get the leg rotated upwards. So from here, we're going to do the same thing. We'll go ahead and get the arm out of the way, since that will keep it from fully transforming and sitting up against the body, like so. And if you want, optionally, you can actually rotate the biceps and get this to fill in. This is just going to be a void here. If you want to do that, you can do that as well. But official transformation is just to keep it straight. Either way, it doesn't really matter. So, and it doesn't really impact the look. All right. Split the legs. On the front, remember, we're going to untab and slide it. Rotate it around, get it near here, and then slide it back in. Get that tabbed. This one, just unfold and tab in. I'm going to go ahead and collapse this. All right, so once you have both sides done, one thing you need to do is make sure you rotate this neck panel like so, kind of cover up his head in alt mode, and then we'll deal with the backpack. So the backpack, was like this. You want to pull back on this section here, and that will release all of this. Kind of just want to straighten that out. The section underneath here, you want to telescope and bring the hood down, and you want to rotate just the hood pieces to the front. You'll see these two rectangular tabs right here. They have slots, and then this little protrusion right there needs to go in that gap. So we'll go ahead and, bring out the grill as well since we're already there. So you can do that. Make sure to push this in. Be mindful of these side view mirrors. I think they are die cast, and they seem very strong. Just be sure you're not to grab or push on these at all, and you should be fine. Although some folks, Toy Dojo mentioned in the live stream that some people found that theirs were loose, so just be aware of that. These panels will fold back, and you'll see there's a little tab here that will go into the back. Do that on both sides. And now we just have to collapse this. So collapsing this, you just need to make sure that this piece is angled in such a way that it will push down there. You might have a bit of trouble getting this actually down. The easiest way to do it is to kind of take one side at a time, or pull out slightly on the doors from underneath, so that you can get this down and in. Once you have that done, it should collapse in just fine. Of course, I'll say that, and then I'm going to have issues. Come on. Come on. This should just collapse straight down. There we go. That was a little scarier than I was anticipating. So don't do that. Be a little bit more gentle than I was just there. So once you have that done, the front section, you'll see these little tabs here. They're going to go and butt up right up against this rounded silver part. So it's going to go over the grill like so. Flip up these bumper pieces. That will also help secure up the front. All right. These came loose when I was transforming. Let's just clean that up. Back here, remember these floppy pieces to have them flip back like so. And then there's two tabs here that will go on the, I guess, the canopy on both sides. push those in. Coming to the bottom, there's two kind of hooking tabs that will go into the yellow, I guess, bumper piece here. And this is the only other section of my figure that I've had problems with. I don't know if it's just extra molding or something like that, but this is supposed to fold in, and there's two ridges on each side that this will kind of be held into place loosely. But when I do that, it doesn't want to fold in. You can see there, I kind of had to pull it and kind of force it in. I don't know if that's going to be a problem with just mine or if it's a widespread problem, but yeah, see, that just like popped out. It shouldn't be doing that. And I haven't found a way to rectify that on my copy. Usually I can finagle with it and get it calmed down like so. So hopefully that will stay into place. But yeah, do a little bit of cleanup, push down here, push in on the sides, make sure everything is nice and secure there. But yeah, with that, you basically have Hunk in alt mode. Once again, doing a quick 360 comparison with his animation model. And he looks pretty nice. He is a little bit more boxy or angular than I was expecting, but I don't know much about cars, and I think he's supposed to be an old school Land Rover, but I don't remember Land Rovers having this much of an angle on this side. But it's not a big deal. I think he does look very close to the animation model, which did have very straight lines, as well as the G1 toy, which had these kind of straight lines here, as opposed to like nice curves that we'll see in comparison with Brawny, which I'll transform in a little bit and we'll get to. He does have some nice details. He does have a faux gas tank here. I don't know if you can actually remove it or not. It feels like you can, but I'm not going to risk it. Nice translucent blue windows. Overall, again, very nice finish. No real other articulation aside from the wheels here. The only other playability that he has is, as I mentioned at the beginning, the gun has a tab. It goes right here. Just push that in, and he has just enough clearance where he can still roll around just fine. So here we have Bad Cube's Brawny. So we can do a comparison of these guys together. They're roughly the same size in terms of length and width. Brawny is slightly taller on the back, but the front is about the same. But yeah, I always thought this one looked like a more realistic vehicle. And again, I'm just going off of what little knowledge I know. I don't know anything about Land Rovers. But I think the overall details, like the roof rack and these lines up here, those look pretty realistic, more so than here. So I feel like the outer shell or shape might be more accurate with this Brawny, but over here, the surface details make it look more like a real car, especially less shiny paint finish. As always, I will bring out my Streak, my favorite comparison vehicle, masterpiece comparison vehicle. Overall, it looks really good. The other accessory that he has, as I mentioned before, is the drill. You come up to the front, and somebody told me this looks like a face, like eyes and a mouth, or maybe that's the mouth. I don't really see that much, but you just push this in and clip that in. I am a little concerned about that, maybe rubbing some paint off if you use it too much. I probably won't be using this anyway. It's a very kind of one-off detail. But yeah, I definitely don't want to scratch up this orange paint too much, so. But yeah, that's really it for alt mode. There's not much to talk about. He does look nice. Oops, sorry. Knocked this off when I was spinning the wheels. He does look nice. A lot of stuff is hidden aside from his chest and his crotch, so nice job there. The only nitpick that other people have had is that you can see his gray knee details over here, which do break up the look a little bit, but for me, it doesn't bother me so much that I would even really notice until it was pointed out to me. So yeah, that's it for alt mode. We'll go ahead and transform him back into robot mode and finish off the review. So if you didn't already knock off your gun, go ahead and remove that. We'll just pretend like we did that. We'll just go ahead and move this up, untab here, untab kind of the canopy or whatever this thing is called all around, just to loosen up everything here. Be careful with this. This is a thinner piece of plastic. And since it does tab in here, I could see people potentially breaking this tab off. So just be careful there. Come to the front, rotate the bumper down and pull out. So now we have basically all this loosened up. From here, let's go ahead and pull up on the bumper and all of this to release that. Release the hood section. Fold up the grill like so. And again, we have to rotate just this hood piece around and in. Don't fold it up here yet. What you need to do is come to the back, fold these sections back. And the way this works is you want to fold at this hinge and then at this hinge to make kind of like this. Fold this in first. Then this will come up underneath it. And then we can fold out the rest of it. So I was trying really hard to figure out how to fold all this up by putting this in and then folding the rest in. That doesn't work. You need to have this in first and fold that up. All right. Coming to the head, rotate this panel, get them looking the right way. And then we're going to basically reverse everything that we did before. Let's just get the arms up and around and tabbed in. We do want to keep the arms kind of up and out of the way though, so they don't run into anything while we're doing the rest of the transformation. So again, rotate this up and around, tab that in there. Now dealing with the rest of the legs, we want to pull down a bit, releasing that kind of slight ridge tab there. Spread these out. Bring these down and then collapse them in again. While we're here, we can go ahead and just tab the two halves together so we deal with the rest as one solid chunk. Form the front of the boots or the toes, Ninja Turtle toes. Untab this, slide this forward, rotate it around, and then slide it up and back, like so. Getting the legs down, open this tab, get this in, close it up, rotate the waist or hips 180 degrees, and then fold up these gray panels to form the knees. You do need to transform the hip skirts again. It's hard to reach in here and get that out. You could rotate it forward and get it started like that. But either way, it's probably easiest just to get a tool in and behind there to get it freed up. And then we'll do the same thing and we'll finish off with hip skirts at the end just because we do need to rotate those hips forward on that joint. So again, coming around, tabbing that in, bringing the legs down. We can go ahead and fill in this section. Combine the two halves of the legs, rotate this all the way around and down. The screws should be facing back. You don't want to potentially see them in the front here, even though it is well hidden. Fold this down and around. Untab this sliding joint down and around. Slide this up. So the legs are pretty much done, aside from these panels, like so. Get this out and around. We do want to push the hips from the back position to the front. So it is kind of stiff. So just firmly pull on that. And then as we showed at the very beginning, we're going to get these hip skirts or butt plate correctly positioned and tabbed in on both sides. And with that, we'll have Hunk mostly done. We just need to take care of the backpack. When we push this back in, the same thing as we did with alt mode. Remember the hinge, the first hinge should go up, the pin joint should go up and in. And these 3 pegs here, this large kind of peg with a screw there, and then this tab will go here. So just push it straight in. Everything should secure just fine. And then we have Hunk back in robot mode, ready to finish off the review. So my final thoughts, I really do enjoy this figure. I don't think it's the best Fans Toys release we've gotten as of late. I think it's a solid figure. Feels great in hand. Lots of die-cast pieces, a lot of the thighs, I think parts of the leg down here, most of the chest here is all die-cast, and we saw, you know, these gold pieces, those hinges in there. There's a lot of the solid inner mechanics are die-cast to make sure that things don't break. Overall, I'm very happy with this figure. I think it's well priced at $90. So if you can get him at $90, I definitely would recommend him. He's probably the best, at least from my experience, Masterpiece Brawn that we have out. The colors are the only thing that are a little off-putting to me, and it's not so bad. Like, if I didn't get another Brawn or a different colored Brawn of this other than this, I'd be okay with it. I would just personally prefer a bit of a darker green and more of a orangey and less blingy chest here. Oh, and same thing with the silver part. The helmet, I know it's going to look very bright probably underneath my studio filming lights, but it's not terrible, and I would have just preferred maybe a darker gray and matching arms and details here as opposed to this light gray and silver. But yeah, very happy with this figure. No real issues. I think the transformation is probably my favorite part of this figure. Robot mode, if he was a little bit bulkier and the colors were a little bit different, I think he'd be basically my perfect version of Brawn, but I'm very happy with this guy as is. So if you're still looking for this guy, I know Toy Dojo is sold out, but keep an eye on their website. They often do get some cancellations and some extra stock every once in a while, so keep an eye there if you want to pick him up. Otherwise, if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. I'll get to them as soon as possible. But yeah, hopefully this review and transformation guide was useful to you. That's all for today, everyone. Hope you have a good one.